this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Now, all of America is talking about the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. Everybody is having their say. Many people believe that it was a real attack on his life, but there are those who believe it was staged. I did a video on Saturday because people were coming into my comment section saying they thought it was staged. So I was asking about why they thought it was staged. And this was black people talking. And I just want to point out that black people are American citizens, so black people have just as much right to voice their opinion about something that's going on in this country as anybody else. And on that note, there is a black man, military man. I don't know if he's retired or not, but he's a military man. And he took to Twitter because he had something he wanted to say about that assassination attempt. I listened to him because he seemed like a serious young man. And so I thought you might be interested in hearing what he had to say. So here goes.
I'm a former military man myself, so I know a little bit about security. Let me explain something to you about this situation and just how curious it is. Okay? Curious is the word I'm going to use. Maybe even interesting. These events are organized, they're structured, they're planned days in advance. There are no pop-up rallies. No. They are highly coordinated events between law enforcement and Secret Service agents. They'll get to the area, they'll scope it out, find all the hot spots, whether the clear lines of sight, the perch positions. They'll never allow open windows or anything like that. They learned all this from the Kennedy days. That's why you don't have assassination attempts that often at rallies, ever really, because they learned a lot from the Kennedy days. And so what they'll do is they'll scope the area out. In fact, they'll look at all the hot spots. They'll look at all the perch positions, rooftops especially. They don't even like rooftops. But what's curious about this situation is the very position the shooter was in, they would have 2 or 3 agents in full battle rattle, security personnel up on that position. Yes, you heard me. The very position that shooter was on. That's very curious to me. Let's talk a little bit more about this shooter. This shooter had all the right conditions for them. Thank goodness they did not succeed. But let's just talk about the situation they were in. They had a perfect elevated position, clear line of sight. He had a tripod, a scope. He even had good weather. Folks, that don't happen. That don't just happen. Just like, when Tom Brady said he didn't know nothing about the footballs and Bill Belichick knew that they didn't know nothing about the footballs, the Patriots, that several years ago. Troy Aikman came on TV and said, as a star quarterback, NFL quarterback, Hall of Fame, he said that just doesn't happen, folks. That kind of thing just doesn't happen. Now there are videos of clear audio. I didn't say edited audio. I didn't say staged audio. I said this is clear audio at the time. And there are 2 things happening when they hurl him off the stage. One, Secret Service does something that's very curious. They pause and let him get his shoe. That wouldn't have happened, folks. No way, no how. They could care less about what articles of clothing you lose. They will slam you to the floor like a rag doll and then pile on top of you and drive you out of there in the lowest profile possible in 5 to 7 seconds. That's actually how they're trained to do it. And the second thing is they will never let you wait and pause for a photo and rear your head. That would never happen, folks. Never, never, never. So just think about that. Very, very curious. I'm not suggesting this, but some would suggest and have said that Trump is a master at changing media narratives. Changing the subject, garnering the attention. In this case, loads and loads of sympathy from public officials and leaders around the world. It's pretty good.
Now, did he sound like he knew what he was talking about? He did to me. And even the people who have commented on this assassination attempt, who know about Secret Service operations, have said that this was a serious breach of security. They blamed it solely on the Secret Service. There was another video, and this was a white man casting doubt on this assassination attempt, but it had graphics in it that would violate the YouTube guideline, but he was just as adamant as this black man. Now, the Secret Service will have to come out and address this at some point to know why their men didn't do what they were supposed to do. In the worst case scenario, if this is real, he definitely would have been killed. And I heard a man on television this morning who has worked with the Secret Service. He went through the whole scenario and he kept saying that Donald Trump was alive only by the grace of God because of the range that the man had. He wasn't that far away, and because of the capability of the rifle and the way he was postured right there in front of, basically there in front of him, the only way that he did miss him was that he was such a bad shot. Because this man was saying that even if he wasn't a good shot, with the aim that he had and the capacity of that rifle, he should have done some real damage to former President Trump. So people are not going to stop talking about this. There are people out there who know about these things. They know how the Secret Service is run, and they know what the procedures are. And if there was a break in protocol and something wasn't done right, the Secret Service has a responsibility to come out and tell the American people, not cover for Donald Trump if something didn't go right. Because this is a black eye for not only the Secret Service, but for the United States of America. It looks bad that a presidential candidate can't go out in his own country among his own constituents and campaign. He was in Republican country. The young man that shot at him was a registered Republican. So this has to be investigated, and the truth of it should come out. If it was a serious attack on him, then the Secret Service still needs to do something, because that man pointed out something that a lot of us probably would never have thought of. First of all, we didn't know about the shoe. But second of all, whenever a president has been in a situation like that, when we have seen it on tape with Reagan, I know they don't let you jump up and show your head, because the man hadn't even been neutralized yet, as far as we know. And let us not forget, President Obama had more threats on his life when he was running for president than any presidential candidate in the history of the United States of America. And the Secret Service managed to keep him safe and still are keeping him safe. Now, that's all I want to say. One of the things that's very important in American politics is changing the narrative. Now, we all know that Donald Trump is a convicted felon. And in spite of the fact that Joe Biden had a terrible debate against Trump, and there's all kinds of talk going around about his health, whether or not he's up to the job, still, his poll numbers have not changed that much. So there are still a lot of Democrats that are convinced that Joe Biden is a better candidate than Donald Trump. And that they still, so I'm just saying we have to stop, look, and listen to what's going on. So this is something to think about. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Have a good day.